we've known for a long time that the right has been after SNAP benefits. They hate poor people. They hate poor people eating. They hate poor people eating food that they don't designate they should eat. They hate poor people eating like them. So eating what everyone eats, potato chips, like white bread, whatever. Deep classism involved here, and SNAP has already been cut, we know, by $186 billion because of the big fugly bill. And now the government shutdown has hastened it because on November 1st, food benefits are going away. They are lapsing for 42 million Americans. Donald Trump could use discretionary funds to basically help them.
There's a specific emergency contingency fund of $5 billion that could be deployed. And the USDA had it on their website as of like 3 or 4 days ago. And then at one point, I think the Republicans realized, okay, they're sort of losing this shutdown battle, and they need to apply pressure on the Democrats. The Republicans, like you say, don't care about people eating. And so they decide to sort of pretend like they legally can't do this, which is rich, because one of the reasons why the Democrats are shutting down the government is that the Trump has both illegally impounded funds that were for other things and illegally appropriated funds that were not appropriated by Congress. Yep. So the idea that Trump is constrained by laws is hilarious in and of itself. But we know that they're not. Even Susan Collins, who I think is afraid of Plattner, came out and said she's spoken to her lawyers and they think this is a misreading that the Trump administration is doing. So
never been a more lost person. I mean, Schumer's up there, but Susan Collins, the ability to suspend disbelief on how evil your fucking party is. Anyway, yes, and to Sam's point, this is what Mike Johnson is saying about using those discretionary funds.
I got a summary of the whole legal analysis, and it certainly looks legitimate to me. The contingency funds are not legally available to cover the benefits right now. The reason is because it's a finite source of funds. It was appropriated by Congress, and if they transfer funds from these other sources, it pulls it away immediately from school meals and infant formula. So it's a trade-off.
It's a total lie. It's a total lie. I mean, he's just lying. I don't know how else to describe it. I mean, you know that he's lying because he's like, I'm getting this from the lawyers. It's not me. It's I went back and I spoke to my manager. I just can't do anything better for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're getting the best price there is.
We're what, like 30 or 20, I guess, are we exactly 28 days into this government shutdown? Was there whispers today that maybe the federal unions wanted to come back to work?
I think yesterday, the AFGE, which is the biggest public employees union, was saying they want an end to this shutdown. That puts pressure on Democrats. I suspect that is the leadership of the union feeling the heat because they've got now hundreds of thousands of federal workers who are, they've just missed their first paycheck. And, it's not like these folks are making so much money that they can go weeks or months without or months or weeks without a paycheck. And so it's a problem. I mean, there's a real a stalemate here.
I just want to say, like, looking at some of the stats on like what it is that Democrats are fighting for. And I think I don't believe that government shutdown should even be a site of struggle and strategy, but this is how our stupid ass government is funded. But like the premiums of the ACA, and I'm someone who buys on the marketplace, will be insane, will be absolutely crushing. So the holdout over healthcare is very important. And, as of a week ago, Democrats were also still encouraging their leaders to hold the line.
Yeah. I think they still are. And I want to there's actually, it's not just the extension of the ACA subsidies, which is huge. And we are, 2 days away, 3 days away from open enrollment. And all through this past week and going into the next week, people are going to realize like how much their insurance is going to go up. And the insurance is going to go up not just because of the lack of subsidies, but it's also going to go up because people are going to drop off the rolls and the risk pools get smaller. And so everybody's insurance goes up. But the really fundamental thing is Trump has been impounding funds. Mm-hmm. And if the Democrats do not have any type of agreement that Trump can't do this, what is the point of agreeing to anything? Yep. The budget doesn't mean anything. And so, I mean, I think Democratic messaging on this has seems to have in some ways fallen off a cliff. I don't know where Chuck Schumer has gone. Hakeem Jeffries is laying low because he, I don't know, he's upset because he had to endorse the Democratic nominee for mayor, 24 hours in advance of voting.
No, they really have been not out front on this. I mean, I wanted to play this from Lloyd Doggett of Texas. Even he is like, look, use the funds, help people get their SNAP benefits.
Trump could easily take immediate action to prevent this from happening by simply using his contingency funding and transfer authority. He could move as quickly as he did to give Argentina a $40 billion bailout. How about just putting Americans first?
I mean, that $40 billion Argentinian bailout is just sitting out there like a gift.
Yep.
The fact that it happened now, I mean, it was obviously tied to Milei's, the midterm elections there in Argentina, but the Democrats have not this should be everywhere. There should be, they should be rolling out ads in, 12 states across the country about this stuff.
Yep.
You shouldn't be able to watch the Dodgers game without seeing this stuff.
Well, Canada knows what's up. I mean, I was sticking with SNAP, people are going to starve. I remember one of the most chilling stories from when there was an increase in SNAP benefits that I read. It was like some, 60-year-old woman in like New Mexico or something who said that because of the increase in SNAP benefits to something like, I think she normally got like $38 a month and it was like $100. She her nails grew back because she ate vegetables. I mean, this kind of and this is the thing also, it's really important to know. I've been on panels with Maha, and so have you. They are so convinced that, and all of these, there's so many new SNAP restrictions. You can't buy junk food or so-called junk food when there is no evidence that poorer people buy junk food at higher rates, number one. If there is a correlation, it's because it's it's cheaper.
Food deserts and it's cheaper.
And they're food deserts. But they've wanted this for so long. So there's already been a cutback on SNAP that's going to keep on rolling. But in the meantime, federal workers, I know TSA agents, people who have not been paid are relying on food banks and sort of communities. Here are some of those food banks speaking about what they're going through.
How long is this sustainable?
Wow. It's not. It won't be from the first day. For every meal that a food bank provides, the SNAP program provides 9. There's no way we can meet that gap. There's no way we can replace every single one of those meals. It is not sustainable for food banks to fill this gap. We were not built to do this. We will stand out there and we will do our very best.
Okay, look, I'm not someone who works with the hungry on the day-to-day, but you can see the emotion in her eyes as someone who does. She's from the Food Depot. And I think that is actually, New Mexico, Jill Dixon. And I thought this was kind of astute, Annette Hacker in Iowa, also at another food bank, basically look, this is what's going to happen in the future because SNAP will be cut.
The gap that lack of SNAP benefits will create is immense to fill. What we're seeing is just a foreshadowing of what's ahead with more and more cuts to SNAP in the next couple of years. The charitable food system cannot fill this gap, no matter how hard we try.
There you go.
We should say Iowa is like in a recession at this point. Farmers have been just devastated by what's been going on with the tariffs and the trade wars that Trump has been implementing. And just a reminder on SNAP, something like 40% of SNAP recipients are children. I think another 20% are senior citizens. The vast majority of the remaining 40% work. So this is it's literally supplemental to get them over the hump, and the amounts of money that we're talking about are minimal. But this has been going on for a long time with the Republican Party. I just want to make this point whenever you can. Donald Trump has executed this. Russ Vought has executed this in a way that Republicans in the past didn't feel they could get away with. Because of just sort of like the structure of our politics at the time. But Paul Ryan, back in the aughts, and all the Republicans, frankly, were creating this sort of notion that you are morally reprehensible if you need food, if you are living in poverty. And this is the culmination of a Republican project that has existed for years and years and years.
That's what drives me absolutely nuts about the Lincoln Project and all the other, like, now, for lack of a better term, anti-Trumpers.
Yep.
It's like, buddy, you made your entire career talking about entitlement programs and demonizing the people who relied on them, and trying to find every which way to cut them, whether it's Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, food stamps, WIC, whatever it is. Like, this is your payday. Like, I don't get it.
100%.
And so, but
they want to pretend like Trump is like was dropped out of an alien spaceship. But the fact of the matter is that the day he came down that escalator, the Republican Party was completely built electorally and the way they had constructed their ideology to elevate this guy. The reason why, I remember Paul Ryan back in the day telling fake stories about a child he met at a school in Wisconsin who desperately wanted a brown bag lunch. And that's why we shouldn't give free lunches at school. He wanted a lunch that came from home. Well, the story ended up being a story that he cribbed from someone in Wisconsin. And that story ended up being a lie. And the whole argument, again, was to create, if you're wealthy, you are morally righteous. So when Donald Trump got on that stage in 2016 with all the other Republican candidates, he's the billionaire de facto. He wins every argument because he's morally righteous because he's rich.
Absolutely. He's never had to rely on, government funding except for when he bankrupted casinos. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do